So, after watching *Malignant*, I decided to watch a flashback movie, a very good movie. So, today, or now, we are going to be discussing Brian De Palma's *Sisters*, which is actually Brian De Palma's first thriller movie. And this movie stars Margot Kidder before she became Lois Lane in *Superman*. And also, if you're very familiar, you might be familiar if you're a huge phantom of The Paradise, which is one of my favorite Brian De Palma's movie. It also features Bill Finley. Uh, and like I said, this is Brian De Palma's very first thriller movie, and I have the Criterion Collection right here. Uh, so before he did, the movies most people know him for, Carrie, Obsession, etc., etc. He did this movie, Sisters, and Sisters. It's a very similar plot to *Malignant*. Uh, Not necessarily. This nowhere near *Malignant*. This is a thousand times better, but it's somewhat. There's some similarities between the two. And this movie came out in 1973. And this movie is basically, if you are familiar with Alfred Hitchcock over here, you will definitely see a bunch of similarity in this movie. This movie is basically all of Hitchcock's movies combined together, and it does it in a way that's unique. It's not like it doesn't steal from Hitchcock. Well, it does steal from Hitchcock, but it's Brian De Palma does it in like an homage way, in a very unique style. And my God, this is a fantastic movie. Uh, Brian De Palma is one of my favorite director. He is I still do study his movies more than any other director. Uh, and I admire this movie. Like I said, this movie is all of Hitchcock's movies together. But the thing that I do want to emphasize is the fact that even though it's all those stuff combined together, it still tells like a unique story. It's very different. It's basically Hitchcock, but like for the '70s. And if because the problem with Hitchcock was that his movies were made in the '50s and '60s, like back when the MPA were really strict. By the time the Palma came in by the '70s, the late '60s, and especially in the '70s, the MPA, which is basically the people who rate movies like rated R, etc., etc., gave very limited restrictions. But in the '70s, when Brian De Palma made *Sisters*, a lot of that was lifted, and so Brian De Palma was able to tell very not like dark, like gritty, like maybe stories that Hitchcock wanted to use a lot, but wasn't able to because of limitations. And so Brian De Palma took all of that and expanded upon that, and we have this masterpiece of a movie. Everything about this movie is perfect. It's not a long movie. It's literally 92 minutes. It's very short, very quick, very fast paced as well. It's very it's unique at what it does. It's very I can't really you have to see this movie. If you haven't seen this movie, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people do not know about this movie, do yourself a favor, take *Malignant*, throw it in the trash, get *Sisters*, put it in, watch it, and then learn about some good storytelling with this movie. So another thing that I do want to talk about is the music, and my God, this has a great music. It's by Bernard Herrmann. Bernard Herrmann was the dude who worked with Hitchcock and made the best Hitchcock movie. He did *Psycho*, he did *Vertigo*, he did other movies as well. But that's the guy to go to. You want to make a good soundtrack, you go to that guy. And he did a soundtrack for this movie, and it is fantastic. Unfortunately, it's not available anywhere. You might have to go to YouTube or somewhere, but the music isn't you can't find it nowhere. Other than that, this movie has great performance. Like Margot Kidder is amazing in this role. It's shocking how after this movie, well, not after this movie, she did other movies, but after this one, she like was Lois Lane. I won't think of her as Lois Lane again anymore. Oh man, she was very good. Uh, and so the thing with Brian De Palma is the fact that he is very much being inspired by Alfred Hitchcock. But De Palma uses his own style of storytelling or filmmaking. Because many people, if you are unaware with De Palma, you're very much aware of his movies. His movies always have like those POV tracking shot. You know, the people claim that Halloween by John Carpenter was the first one. Actually, Brian De Palma used that a lot. Also, the split screen, the famous split screen, that's also was Brian De Palma. And another one, the over the view type of thing. There's a bunch of De Palma style, and a lot of it started off with this movie. And the thing with De Palma is that because of the time period, because this was in the 70s, he could do a lot. Like this, the story is dark. The story is very engaging. It's like I said, like it starts one way, and then like at the halfway point, it's like switches doesn't switches stories, but it switches characters, and you're like, what's going on? But you are very engaged, and it's a mystery. It's a mystery, basically. I didn't tell what the plot of the movie is. Oh my goodness. So a brief summary of the plot is basically Margot Kidder plays an actress who is finds herself a lover or boyfriend, whatever, and then something happens to him, and it's a mystery, and then we find out that there's something way much more, and there's a big twist at the ending, and I did not expect that twist to happen. What? And it was very subtle. It wasn't like, it's not like movies nowadays where the twist is like zoom in and then all that. No, it's the thing, like it's very subtle. And then if you haven't noticed it, you'll be very confused. This movie you have to, like, when you watch this movie, this is one of the movies that you have to think. You can't like just watch it like Malignant and just expect it to be popcorn fun and everything. You really got to think about watching this movie. You are engaged in the movie, and that's the problem with what movies don't have nowadays. You're not engaged. You don't be invested into it. Like like a lot of these horror movies, it's just, boo and all that, and there's nothing to it. But De Palma shows that you could make movies that are engaging, where audience member, like, you piece the puzzles together. You're like, oh, okay, let's have this, that, and like, oh wait, that's different, or that person is suspicious, etc., etc. I like stories like that. Like I'm part of the movie. I miss those types of storytelling. I miss those types of movies, and we just don't get them anymore. And so, like, I love this movie. I really didn't saw, like, this is the first time I saw this movie. I had like little to no memory of this movie, and this movie is everything that Malignant could have been, because people say Malignant is a reference to those classic those scary movies and whatever. I'm like, this is a good movie, and this, like, besides from the technologies and costume, this movie still holds up today. This is a fantastic. So that's basically my review for Sisters. I cannot stress this enough. You have to watch this movie. Like, you can watch it for Halloween's. You can watch it whenever you want. This movie is fantastic. Great performance. So Margot Kidder is not scary, but like intriguing, and the other actors as well, especially Bill Finley. It's very creepy in this movie. I'm like, whoa! How did you transfer that to Phantom of Paradise? But like I said, you guys, this is a fantastic movie. I cannot stress this enough. Watch Sisters. Thank you, Brian De Palma. Finally, good movie. Oh my God, this is the best movie so far. Great movie this year. So that's my review for this movie. Let me know if anyone remembered this movie or have seen this movie. What do you think about this movie? And if you haven't seen this movie and you do see this movie, let me know what do you think about it as well. I'm very curious to think about people nowadays. What do you think Or what do you have to say when you see movies like this? Uh, did you like it? Did you not? I do suggest this is a good movie. Like I said, when you're going to watch this movie, don't think of it as a modern day movie. This movie, you have to think. It's a little like you have to you have to get in the movie to understand the movie. So this requires a little bit too much for viewers nowadays. But overall, great movie, great music, great cinematography, all around great. So I guess that's gonna be all for now, folks. I will leave it like that. Like I said, watch this movie, and this is another reason why I want to do flashback movies, because after watching *Malignant*, I was like, oh my god, like this movie is terrible. And then I put this movie on. I like literally, like after doing this review, I'm like, I can't. I gotta watch another movie. So I put this movie on, and my god, this is great. I'm pumped up again. So I would just leave it like that. Please comment down below. Let me know about what do you guys think about this movie, and if you have seen this movie or watched this movie, I really am curious to know what do you think about it. With that being said, I guess we are out of